Okay, I think we've hit 1 o'clock on the dot, so we're going to get started. So today is all about introducing you to the Thermomix for those that maybe don't know much about it, and also for those that do have a Thermomix. Some of our hosts already have a Thermomix. Hopefully you'll pick up some tips and tricks today in two of the recipes that I'll be showcasing, which is the mushroom risotto and the fruity dream. So I'll go through a little bit of that. So what I want you to do, I'm going to get straight into the cooking, but I want you to do in your chat boxes to discuss with your consultant or let them know what is it that you're most interested in finding out about today, what's brought you here, what's motivated you to jump on, what is it that you want to learn. So share all of those ideas with your consultant. I'm going to be sharing not only the Thermomix with you today, all of its functions and features. Also, you're going to see the opportunity to host one of these in maybe a more intimate setting with your consultant and just a couple of other people, rather than in a setting which is with quite a few people from the state. So you've got those opportunities that you can speak to your consultant about, as well as the business opportunity. What you're seeing me do here, we are really lucky in this current climate to still be able to present to you guys in this virtual world, which is just awesome, don't you think? I think a lot of people are going to be spending a little bit more screen time over the coming weeks. Hopefully it's just weeks and not months. Okay, so on my Thermomix, this is the TM6. I've already gone onto the Cookidoo platform and I have selected the 2 dishes that I'm going to be cooking today. So I'm going to go over to my 3 little lines in the left-hand corner, and I'm going to pop in my week. And in the my week, you will see the 2 dishes that I've already selected. Now, the Thermomix has a couple of different modes of cooking. We've got the guided mode, which you're going to see with the mushroom risotto. But even though I've put the fruity dream there, which I could follow it in guided, I'm going to show you manual cooking, because that's for those people that love to just create their own recipes or know recipes off by heart and don't want to always follow step-by-step instructions on the screen. Let your consultant know, are you one of those cooks, the creative kind of, chuck-in type cooks, or are you a follower step-by-step and like to have a recipe, or are you in between like me? I'm actually a tweaker. I like to use a recipe and then I'll usually tweak along the way. So let your consultant know which one of those you are. So I'm going to hit the mushroom risotto. And it says here, if you scroll down, you can actually see it's got the preparation as well as the tips and hints at the bottom. It's got your nutritional information if you're wanting to see that. And we've got all the ingredients. I'm going to go to start cooking, because we're going to get started. Now, one of the most amazing features about your Thermomix, which I absolutely love, are the scales. Your Thermomix have scales, and they are the feet of your machine. They're extremely accurate, precise, and they weigh in 1 gram increments. So if anywhere I touch on the Thermomix is going to actually register here on the scales. This one feature alone has saved me the most amount of time in the kitchen. Who else who has a Thermomix can attest to that, because it just means you don't have to pre-weigh things somewhere else. I can literally weigh in my bowl, or if I wanted to, place a plate on top, tear it, and then weigh into the plate. So it saves a lot of time. You can even weigh while you're cooking. So we want 40 grams of Parmesan cheese. That's just chopped into cubes, and that's going straight into my Thermomix. I'm going to press next. It's going to tell me to insert my lid. Well, it actually says measuring cup, but we know when it says measuring cup, it means the lid. What I love about the TM6 and the new measuring cup is that it kind of locks in. So I can do this, and it doesn't go flying all over the floor. It's a wonderful, wonderful creation and design, and it actually lessens the sound by 5 decibels when you've got this particular measuring cup. And this measuring cup does work on all Thermomixes, just so you know. So it's already selected here. This is like the guided cooking is like a GPS. It takes you from the start of a recipe to the end of the recipe, which is your destination, and it'll get you there every single time when you're following that recipe. They've been triple tested by our RD people. And Sandy later is going to go into Cookidoo and the wonderful recipe platform and what that looks like. So it's already got 10 seconds on there. We don't need any heat, so there's nothing being applied. And it's telling us to turn the selector to speed 10. You'll see there is a kind of a light faded green, which tells you exactly where you need to go. So I'm just going to turn my dial, and it's going to do it. Try to step away so that my earphones don't pick up the Thermomix. Let me know if that works. Or can you hear the Thermomix? So as a little test, I can read in the chat box, could you actually hear me over the Thermomix just then? Or did it pick up the Thermomix?
Helen, it was pretty good. We just, it sounded quite quick, and then we could just hear you a little bit faded, but it was great.
Fantastic, Sandy. Thank you, darling. All right, so I'm going to go next. That's actually now grated. It's telling me to transfer and set it aside. Have a look at what I've done in 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, I've grated Parmesan cheese. So the thing about your Thermomix is that it has over 20 functions in the one appliance. So you don't need to have 100 other appliances in your kitchen that usually sit in cupboards, really hard to clean, and don't get used very often. So I'm going to use my handy spatula to pour out all of that Parmesan cheese. Have a talk with your consultant right now about what other things would you grate. If you saw how well this grated or milled this Parmesan cheese, what other things could you grate at home and save money on? Because to buy Parmesan cheese like this costs more money than if you were to grate it yourself. Same as pretty much anything that you buy pre-milled for you in the shops is going to cost you more money. And we're all about saving money at the moment. I think if you can save, as much as you can in your shopping, because everybody's kind of eating at home, then firstly, the Thermomix is going to pay for itself. I'm hoping to show you how you can save, and me along with your consultant, how you can save between $20 to $50, and that's conservatively speaking, a week, just by having a Thermomix in your kitchen. And if you're not saving that sort of money, then you reach out to your consultant, because they'll be able to give you some more hints and tips on where you can save money. All right, so I've taken as much as I can out. And always go clockwise when you've got your spatula in there, because that's working on the blunt side of the blade. You'll see the thing that's really special about our blades is that there's a blunt side and there is a sharp side, so that we can chop when we want to chop. And if we don't want to chop anymore and just stir, you'll see it in a second, we engage the reverse, which is on the blunt side of the blade. So next it says clean and dry the mixing bowl. I'm a little bit of a lazy cook. If you're confident that you've gotten as much of it out as you can, I usually just go to the next. We're going to put an onion. I've only got half an onion here. You'll actually see that it's more than 30 grams. It's about 50. I don't mind a little bit of extra onion flavor, but you can adjust this. You could put shallots in there instead. You could put spring onion if you prefer, some garlic. So this is where the tweaking comes in. The Thermomix is there to complement your cooking. You're still in control, even though you're doing guided. So you guys can, in actual fact, choose and be in control of what you want in there. Just remember though, if you're a tweaker and the recipe doesn't turn out perfect, then that's normal cooking. But if you follow it guided step by step, then it's going to turn out perfect every single time. Don't let that deter you from tweaking though, because I am a massive tweaker, and I've got to say it's pretty forgiving and still turns out pretty good for me. All right, so it's telling us to do this. It's got 3 seconds on the clock. Again, we want to chop onion now. And it already tells you 3 seconds here, but who would have thought that you can actually chop an onion? If I just move that dial, by the way, it stops. Automatically stops where it needs to stop. If I was to then wanting to override it and go up a little bit higher, because I like onion being chopped a little bit finer, I could override that. I could also go back and repeat this step if I wanted it to be finer. So I'm pretty good with that. That's chopped my onion chunky, which is fine. Oh, am I going to cry on camera? Possibly. One of my biggest tips is do not breathe it in. Don't sit and smell right on top like I just did, because you may just cry. All right. So it tells us next to scrape down. Sorry, I kind of preempt it because I've made this recipe so many times. We're now going to put 40 grams of cold butter in there. I am going to have just a little bit of weep because it's quite an emotional moment when you chop onion in 3 seconds, guys. All right, who can relate to that? I am going to get my handy crew member here, who happens to be my husband, to grab me a tissue, if that's okay, baby. All right, so we want some butter in there. Now, keep in mind, you can make your own butter. And if you're interested in finding out about that, thank you so much. Oh gosh, all my makeup's going to run and everything. Just one moment, please.
You're allowed to have your moment, Helen. this is
my emotional moment.
One of the.
I grab the sanitizer as well. Yeah. Thank you.
One of the fabulous things, Helen, is that we're real people with unreal lives, aren't we?
Totally. Okay, just so you go, my husband decided to give me maybe a whole tablespoon of hand sanitizer just then. Thanks for that. He's doing an awesome job. We'll give him a shout out, I think. All right, there's my towel. I think I'm composed. I should be good. Oh, goodness me, I really took a whiff of that onion. Okay, so we've got our cold butter in there, which you can make yourself, and there are plenty of videos online, but your consultant, if that's something that you really want to see in a live, maybe you can do a one-on-one with them and they can set it up for you. We also want to mix it with some olive oil. Now, if you're dairy-free, you can just omit that butter. You don't need to double up the oil or anything like that, just omit it. So we want to put in 40 of a nice, good quality olive oil, whatever you're used to using at home. Doesn't matter if you go over a little bit or under a little bit. It's not a problem. Next, we're going to pop on our measuring cup and lid, and it's now selected 3 minutes. So these particular dials you're seeing here, you've got your time, your temperature, and your speed. And it's already got 30 minutes. It's got 120 because that's what we want to saute it at. And you cannot cook or apply heat without putting on a time. That's just a safety feature in there. So let's just turn that on. It's saute. While I do that for 3 minutes, I'm going to pass over to Sandy very quickly so that she can just go through a couple of little slides with you. Over to you, Sandy.
Absolutely. So you can, I'm sure you can all hear that, see my screen. Can you give me thumbs up, Fiona? Thank you, lovely. I love it when I see a familiar face out there. Helen, stunning job. And what we can see with the screen is absolutely amazing. It's great to see the functionality of the Thermomix. So the price is an all-inclusive offer with $2,269. Your consultant will share with you all the many payment options that we have available, because Thermomix is affordable for everyone. And I really love how Helen shared that the Thermomix can pay for itself, and that it's not a pocket of money that you need to find. It's money that you've already allocated somewhere that can go towards paying back that money on your credit card or onto paying it off in our fabulous Zip Money. But wait, there's always more. And one thing which is always exciting and just keeps our adrenaline rush going as consultants is the fabulous offers which we offer our customers. So we have a limited time offer at the moment, and Helen's going to showcase some of these beautiful things for us today. Wow, there it is. We've got the Eat Well book and the fabulous thermo server. So you're going to see that. So this is a limited time offer until the 14th of April. And so it was an offer which is in that time frame there. And so that's our 2.6 litre thermo server, which is absolutely brilliant when it comes to supporting everything that you're cooking in your Thermomix. So how are we going, Helen? Do I need to come back to you yet, or we still come back to you now, babe? Give it love. I can more, which is always great. And that's why, as I said, the ability of having this virtual environment is absolutely awesome. But we have another great offer for you as well, and that is the 36-month interest-free, which ends at the end of April. So plenty of time to get yourself all organised and in that space of working out individually with your consultant if you need to do the maths and need to do the cost comparison of how can my Thermomix pay for itself? What am I not ordering at the supermarket that is then going on to pay for my Thermomix on Zip Money? You can see as simple as $16.26 a week, and then you've got the total repayments of that time as well. So as I say, there's always some fabulous things there. So I'm going to hand you back to Helen.
Thanks, Sandy. Thank you for that. It's always good to kind of know these things right at the word go. Check, chat to your consultant if you've got any questions about that. The Eat Well cookbook is one of my absolute favourite cookbooks. Not to mention, it's so super important at the moment that we are really eating healthy foods. But it has got some fabulous recipes, and I've got to tell you, each of I'm going to talk while I do so we can keep to the time that we've promised here. Basically, that's now sauteed and it's nice and sizzly. I don't know if you can hear the sizzle. Not my hair, but lucky you guys are not eating this, me touching my hair and all sorts of things. I promise you when I do this face to face, that doesn't happen. But that is now, I don't know if you can see, I can't do it too far, but it's just kind of sauteed or sweated my onions, so they're quite translucent. Now, if you wanted to go a little bit longer, you could. I'm going to add now my arborio rice. Really important that you use a good arborio rice. I know rice might be a little bit difficult to find these days, but your continental delis and things have really good quality ones. But I use a Woolies brand. It's actually the Woolies brand because it's a product of Italy, so I tend to use that. So 320 grams, whatever you use, as long as it's arborio rice for risotto, that's what you need. So have we got, oops, I need to tear it. Always remember to tear because sometimes it'll factor in the lid if it engages that scales before you've taken the lid off. And we want 320. Almost there. There we go, 325, that's okay. I am not OCD about those things. But if you are, the great thing is they kind of just sit on top, so you could actually just get a spoon and spoon out some of that risotto if it really bothered you. All right, next we want to place our splash guard on. So this is a new feature of the TM6. This splash guard comes with your Thermomix. In fact, everything comes with the Thermomix. I'm going to get it cooking and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it. But it is highlighting for me to pop that on right now. I'm going to say done. It's now got 3 minutes on the clock. And this symbol here, which is our kind of like wiggly lines, that is signifying one of the modes, which is, you can't access outside of a guided cooking, but we've got loads of guided recipes which utilize high heat, and that's what that is, high heat. It's actually going to about 160, 170 degrees in temperature, hence why we can't access it without it being in a guided recipe, but it's going to really toast that, that rice, because you'll know with risotto, you usually toast the rice with the butter and the oil and the onion. So I don't know if you can hear the sizzling, maybe not, I'm not sure. But one of the things I want you to think about is, what do you guys pay for a risotto when you're getting it out at a restaurant? Or maybe you're the type of person that loves risotto, you've tried it at home and it just never worked for you, or there was so much effort involved in making a risotto. And the only reason I can say this with so much animation is because I was one of those people 13 years ago when I got the Thermomix. Before Thermomix days, I tried risotto a couple of times. It was one time an epic fail. The other time was lovely, but it took hours for me to sit there at the stove and stir. It felt like hours. It was probably only 1 hour. I'm tending to exaggerate, but it was. Who can relate to that? Now, the fact that you can be making your own risottos at home, what kind of flavors do you guys like? Chat with your consultant about the type of flavors that you enjoy, because I guarantee you any flavor you want to do in a risotto, you can do. Whether it's pumpkin, whether it's, prawn and gorgonzola, whether it's sun-dried tomato and salami, whether it's just a vegetarian, with some mixed vegetables through there, asparagus and spinach risotto. You name it, you can do it. Pretty much this is your base risotto, but I guarantee you on Cookidoo there's like hundreds of recipes that you can access from around the world, including Italy, which, are the kings and queens of pasta and rice dishes. Well, not rice, but risottos. All right, so what it's doing is toasting still. We've got about 30 minutes to go. You'll see that the blade, or you might be able to hear, the blade stops and starts, stops and starts. That's to get that nice toasting effect happening. The screen that you would have already realized is a touch screen. So it's very simple to use. If you've got an iPhone or even an Android phone that's a touch screen, it's exactly the same. And I'll show you a couple of the other screen functions of the Thermomix. Like I said before, it comes with everything that you need. So the basket, which sits inside the Thermomix, that comes with it. I'm going to press next. It's telling me to add 60 grams of wine. Now, I don't have to take the lid off, and I could have actually weighed. I'll show you that in the next step, actually. I won't confuse you. Let me pop in there 60 grams of wine. I think it's going to actually tell me.
And Helen, just to clarify there, I think you might have said that the onion was going to take another 30 minutes. It was only 30 seconds that you had left there.
30
so
seconds.
30 seconds, not minutes. So
thank you.
Nailing it.
Awesome. All right, now it's telling us to put the splash guard back on, that we put the wine there. It says done, 2 more minutes, and just turn the dial and away we go. Now, while we're going, if I wanted to weigh, I could press the home button and it automatically bookmarks exactly where I am in the recipe. And then I can jump out and go searching on Cookidoo if I wanted to, because this is a smart connected kitchen appliance. It connects to your Wi-Fi at home, and I can access the wonderful world, which Sandy's going to go through in just a moment, of recipes just here on there. So I'm not going to go into that. You can either do it on your computer, your phone, or directly on the screen. The other way, when you swipe left, you've got all your modes and your functions of your Thermomix. So you've got your scale function, your dough function, turbo, which is like a pulse on a food processor. You've got the pre-clean, which is an amazing function to help you with cleaning. So if you've got a mucky bowl, you would quickly do a 2 to 5 minute clean, and then it will make your life a lot easier at the sink. You've got a kettle function. You really could use this as a kettle because of the specific temperatures that you can get with the Thermomix. You've got a blend function, a slow cook function, a sous vide function, fermentation so that you can make your own yogurts at home. You can even proof your dough using that fermentation, a rice cooker. So there's so many, and they look at all this space. That's space where Forwerk, as they keep developing new modes, it automatically syncs and uploads or updates your Thermomix to the latest features and functions that they've included. You know how you get on your iPhones, update, install, update? It's exactly the same. So one of our newer functions are the thicken, which is just on that screen, and the blend, I think it was. All right. Next, so now it's telling us to use our spatula and scrape the base of our Thermomix. And the reason it tells you to do that is because, remember, we were working on a really high heat just then, and that heat was about 160 or 170. Still not as hot as your stove top if you go on max, which is great because it means you don't really burn things. But you want to just make sure you haven't got anything stuck on the base. And all that stuff that is stuck on the base that I'm now releasing is that ooey gooey yumminess that you absolutely want in your dish. All right, so that's good. That's good to go. I'm going to go to next, and it's asking us to put our magic. vegetable stock concentrate. I call it magic, and I'll tell you why in a second. 1 to 2 tablespoons of that beautiful stuff goes straight in. I always tell people to be generous with this thing because it is your flavor. That's going to give you the flavor that you need. Okay, we now want our mushrooms, which I've just got some mushies that I've bought pre-sliced, but if you're wanting to save more money, buy them whole, slice them up yourself. You can use dry shiitake, porcini. You could have soaked them in the wine before you added it in. You could have milled up these mushrooms so that fussy eaters, I'm not going to say just kids because there's some fussy adults too, can't see them. So you can hide vegetables in the Thermomix. You could just have gone out of the recipe or right at the beginning, chopped up the things that you don't want, set them aside and then add them when the recipe calls for it. Okay, next we want, oh, that's something I didn't get, water. Could you possibly pass me a jug of water, or even that one there, Les? Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. I'm just going to use some of our filtered water, and we want 720 grams. Now, a tip for you guys is to always ensure that your wine, when you're adding it, again, you can omit it if you don't want it in there. But if you are using wine, don't use it straight from the fridge. Let the part that you're going to be using come down to room temp or close to, because sometimes that cold against the hot, when you pour it in, makes the rice stick to the base of the bowl. So try to avoid having cold from the fridge wine. Again, it's telling me just to loosen it up by scraping. And next, we're going to place our simmering basket on now. Sorry. Rice stuck there. So this is the simmering basket that comes with the Thermomix. Usually it's inside here, but occasionally we put it on top, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. It's engaged our reverse because it now does not want, it actually had it engaged from before as soon as the rice went in, because we didn't want to chop it. I just forgot to highlight it to you, but that's exactly where the reverse is. So away we go. That's going for 13 minutes. This basket is for steaming rice, vegetables, boiling eggs. It makes the best boiled eggs, and you get them perfect every single time in your basket. The other reason we put it on top is because this here allows steam to escape, but not as much as this. And we want the steam to escape and evaporate so that we can end up with a really lovely consistency to our risotto. And so this helps that process happen without it splattering, because it's quite full, without it kind of splattering out. So that's why it's there. I'm going to pass you now to Sandy, who's going to take you through Cookidoo while we've got 12 minutes of cooking time on here to take you to the wonderful world of our recipe platform.
Helen, I'd love to do that. At some stage, do you want to show the Varoma, and do you want to do that when we come back, or do you want to show the Varoma now? Do you want to show that now before I go to Cookidoo?
Oh, yeah, here it is. Sorry, I had it right there next to me, all the components of the Thermomix. So we've got our butterfly, which I may have skipped. I'm pretty sure I should have put the butterfly in there at some point. Maybe not. This is your Varoma. That sits directly on top, and that's for steaming. So you can steam larger quantities of vegetable, fish, chicken, omelettes, another whole world of steaming. Again, reach out to your consultant if you want to see that in action. They might be able to set something up for you to see that. I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. I'm now going to, where'd my share go? Here we go. I thought I was there. I'm going to wing you through the world of Cookidoo. And in regard to the, seeing the Varoma and seeing all that layered cooking, there are some fabulous dishes, which is just a one-stop shop of you know, can be sauce, rice, meat and veg at the top. So if that's something that's important to you, certainly reach out to your consultant to have a little look at that, because that's an amazing layered cooking style. Whole meals done in around that 20-25 minutes, etc. So that's important to you, reach out. Okay, so I'm now going to introduce you, you've seen it on the Thermomix, to why Cookidoo. You hear us all the time talking around Cookidoo, and why Cookidoo will be your go-to place. So let's hope this works. Can you see that, Fiona? My Cookidoo, great. It's just that you're front and center there, so I'm sorry to be picking on you, but I just want to make sure that you can see my Cookidoo screen. So this is our recipe. Cookidoo, give me 2 seconds. Oh, that's paused.
Okay. I can only, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give me just a little bit of patience if you can, if you don't mind. I just need to probably open up. It paused for some reason. I'm not sure why that happened. That's technology at its finest. So
it might be my internet connection, so just
that's all
try
right.
it again. Yeah.
That's okay. I will now just do a separate share of its own, Helen, and I think we should be able to share that, and then I can we see that now? Yay, okay, as I say, just a matter of just reshuffling the order that we do things. So Cookidoo is our recipe platform. It's a growing library of over 50,000 recipes. Like Helen said, it can actually take you around the world, and she introduced a little bit of that. What I'm going to take through, you can actually also do this on your on the screen of your Thermomix. That's the amazing part on the innovation of what's been brought to our TM6. So I'm going to log into my account, and it says Sandy, don't you love it? Knows who you are. And so we have our search function. You actually might have specific things that you are needing to cook for your family with as well. So you can certainly do that. But just on our own home page, you'll see there's some great inspiration all just rolled out here for you. And I find this is a good place to go sometimes, just to see what's trending, what's latest, what's everyone's go-to recipe at the time. I straight away see blackberry meringue cake. Oh my goodness, that's going to happen this weekend. Gingerbread ice cream. You know, these are some great latest recipes there. We've got our recipe spotlight, and how really fitting is that this beautiful golden turmeric latte. That's so we really do have all the different niche areas that you might, it might be really important to you. Most cooked, what everyone's been having a little look at. Great recipes to stock up with, that's actually really handy. And our latest collections. So the difference between a collection that you'll see in our when I show you our collections and recipes, is that in amongst the collections there are small collections which are around 10 to 12 recipes, and then we have whole book collections, which, gosh, they can have over 100 recipes in it. So the mini E collections, a little bit like when Helen showed those new modes of thickening, which is all around sauces, custards and hollandaise and those delicious things that we love to put with our food. That would be a thickening collection. So usually when we get a new mode introduced, we usually get a new little collection. So straight away it can take you to what that is all about. And it's also like there's a rice cooker mode, there's a rice cooker collection. So just say I'm at home, I've got my children, my family who need food all day, every day. I might think I just want snacks. What am I going to feed my family? I want to feed my family snacks. So I can put in snacks, I can put in different cuisines, I can really search anything. I can put in, which I can see in the filters as well, it might be dairy-free, egg-free, that's another way of filtering it as well. But just I might think sanity check, snacks for my family. Straight away, it's given me 661 results found with snacks. So I can actually change that filter. If I took out the Australia, because it's actually naturally just defaulted for me into Australia, that's going to extend that search out to 4,369 snacks. That should do it. That should help me look at 69,000 snacks. So, and of course, when I have a little look through this, it's actually going to inspire you, but you're also going to see, well, for me, there's some of those which are in the language. So that's okay. Now, I can choose to either search by just every recipe, or I did speak to you around collections, and I'll show you those little collections in a moment. But I'm just going to go the whole pool of recipes, but I want to filter that down. So in my filters is where your whole world of starting here comes down to exactly what you're looking for. I've already selected it snacks, so I don't really need to go through all the categories, which I could if I was looking for something particular in those categories. Wonderful categories there as well, and they actually had a snack category there. This is where I can actually type in different. I haven't got my English set at the minute. That I'm going to use. So what I'll actually do is I'm going to get it back to English. Let me set it to English, and then just go back up here. So you can see that when I go into my tags, this might be where you need to put in different type of options that you might want to sort of tag in there as well, and that you can also put in, you know, dairy-free, egg-free, all those other type of options that you might need. This is the part which you can select whether it might be the children making their own snacks, and you're like, let's just go with something easy that the kids can start learning to use the Thermomix on. Or I might just want to leave that if I think I just want to see what's there without actually filtering it down. That's fine. This is your total preparation. This is your preparation time compared to your total time as well when it comes to doing snacks. That will be probably really of importance when you're doing your dinner at night time, when I know time is of the essence for your family on the table. It's where you can actually filter down if you want things done in under 30 minutes or 15 minutes, etc. Portion size. So we hear from all one end of the scale to the other is that there's only myself, perhaps and myself and the hubby home now, to will it feed my family? There are 8 or more of us. The answer to all of that and more is yes. Thermomix works for wherever you are in your life journey, to really being the best thing you can have in your kitchen to support you with eating really healthy food in a quick and fast way. That sounds appealing on its own. I might like to look at the ratings. So when it comes to the ratings, to see, I just want to use what's really been rated well. And I also have the opportunity to rate recipes when I make them. I can decide which Thermomix I have. So I might think I've got the Thermomix 5. I want to see what the 6 is. Let me see what the 5 is, the recipes are, or I might decide to see what's offered in the 6 as well. Can from 11 languages. Wish I could speak them all. There's a challenge for me to take up. And also I have the option to choose through 17 countries or regions. Now, you know, the fabulous thing is that Australia is so multicultural, and we really love to learn from the cooking from all our beautiful cuisines around the world as well. So for me, I'm just going to stick with what I know. So I could select Australia. I might think, you know what, I want to see what they're doing in the UK. What are they doing in snacks in the UK? Now that gives me 334 results, which we've taken it down from 4,000, but 334 is pretty cool as well. You'll see the more filters I put in, the smaller the search becomes, and when I want to expand that more, I can take some of these filters out. So straight away, that gives me ideas of all these fabulous dishes that thing that I like. Now here's a blast from the past from my childhood, butterfly cakes. So whenever you see something, of course, you can just view that recipe. And like Helen was showing on the screen, it takes you through the ingredients, the preparation, it takes you through the tips and the tags, etc. And if there's anything there that is of importance to you, to have a little look through, you know, as in the tips, etc. Now I can decide whether I just want to cook this right now today and hit the cook today button, or I might think, oh, let me think where I actually want to cook that. Do I want to add it to my menu planner? And if I do want to add to my menu planner, add to my week. So I can then decide when I'm going to cook that. I think tomorrow's Saturday, that looks like a really great day to be cooking butterfly cakes. I'm going to save that into my week. I also might think, you know what, I don't want to be common when it's go time. I want to find that really fast. So I might think, you know what, I'm going to create my own collection, and my own collection can look like family favorites. And so I've created my own collection. So now when I go into my Thermomix, what I'm doing on my computer will be on my Thermomix, because we're all connected to Wi-Fi. So instead of me going all into all the recipes, I can go to my collections, find my family favorites, and there, that is right there for you. So are we good to go, Helen?
We are good to go.
Let's do a stop share there.
Thank you, Sandy. That is awesome. I just love that Cookidoo platform, and I've got to tell you, most of your consultants are super excited about it, because it makes cooking for your family or for yourselves so much more exciting, because you can have literally something different every night of the week if you wanted to. And I love that, you know, not all ingredients are readily available at the moment, so you could easily just plug in the ingredients you do have to get some inspiration of what to cook. All right, that is done. It is now telling me to transfer this to a serving bowl, which I have right here ready to go. This is our wonderful thermo server that Sandy shared with you at the beginning. It's one of our host rewards, because just by hosting and bringing two people, inviting two guests onto these virtual cooking experiences, you get access to host rewards. But for them, until I think Sandy did share the date, was it the end of April? You've got or was it the 14th of April? You get the Eat Well cooking book with the purchase of the Thermomix, and one of these thermo servers as well, which keeps food hot for 2 hours. They are amazing. Now, I have popped some spinach in the base just to add that bit of volume to my risotto. You might have wanted to add some frozen peas and corn in there, and you keep them frozen, because as soon as you put this really lovely hot risotto in there, and you can use your spatula so that it has a break point so it doesn't splatter all over the place. Now you can see that that is actually a little bit wet, which is fine. It's meant to be like that, because all risottos need to sit for about 5 to 10 minutes to soak up that liquid, and then it will be ready to go. Now at this point, I'm just going to pop that aside. We're just going to stir through our spinach through that risotto. I could put the Parmesan cheese, or even half of it, into the risotto and stir it through. But if you've got anybody in the family who's, you know, dairy intolerant, but there was only one member of your family that was dairy intolerant, then don't put it in there. Everyone can just put their own. And I actually have one child who isn't tolerating dairy at the moment. So we're going to leave it without that. Now I'm going to leave that to the side, and I'll come back to that at the end so you can see, after it's sat there for a little while, what it looks like. The last dish that I'm going to do is the Fruity Dream, and as I mentioned to you, I'm going to click finish here. I'm going to do the manual mode rather than using the guided. So this is a soft serve ice cream, but a really healthy version of it. So what I want to do is engage my scales, and I'm going to weigh in some raw sugar. Now, I don't know what that noise was, whether it was my phone telling me that there was a battery. No, it can't be that one. Just want to check.
No, we're looking
battery.
good. Oh,
good. No, I've got enough battery. I just heard a sound. Okay, so we want 80 grams or thereabouts. Thank you. I'm swapping spatulas with my handy crew member there. And we want, about 80 grams, thereabouts. What we're going to do is, in actual fact, mill that sugar into icing sugar in 10 seconds by going straight up to speed 10. Now, I could either put 10 seconds on that dial, but because I'm not cooking, I don't have to, and I'm standing right next to it. So I'm going to go straight up to 10. And then it's going to mill our sugar into icing sugar. Again, saving your money, guys. You don't have to buy 3 types of sugars. You only need to buy one, and you can make it into caster sugar. I went 14 seconds. See what happens when I get distracted talking. I should have put the time on. 14 seconds, it doesn't matter. But what you'll see is a beautiful, the theatrics, you can see it's smoking, it's just sugar dust. But there we've got icing sugar, done. And it looks pretty white as well. So raw sugar is a little bit better for you. You don't have to buy the 3 types. Caster sugar I could have done in a couple of seconds. Right, now I'm going to pop in some frozen fruit. I've chosen just some blueberries, and you can weigh that. I have already weighed it, but you know, you can put your scale on. You want around 6 to 650 grams of frozen fruit. So if you could freeze your own fruit if you want to, just cut it into little cubes, and then you know, use whatever, mango, banana. Bananas are one of those awesome soft serves. I'm going to now I'm going to go in just a second back to Sandy, because I've made a big mess on my screen here, which you can probably see in the other little item. But I want to put on there about 40 seconds, and I will put the time on for this one, to chop those berries into a bit of a creamy consistency, or smoother consistency. So we're going to go straight up to speed 10 for 40 seconds. Bear with me for a minute.
You want to mute that, Helen? Do you want to mute, hun?
Yeah, we'll mute.
And I'm going to continue on just with a little snippet of the Cookidoo, and I'm sure you can still see that screen. Fingers crossed, yes? Yay. So when I created I added the butterfly cakes to my weekly planner. I also added it to my own collection. When it comes to shopping, so when I have my shopping list here, this is one where we played with the other day. So in my menu planning, I might have chosen that I'm doing the Korean beef bowl one day. I'm going to do the tuna. And so if I'm thinking, well, I don't know if I've got enough, if I've got the ingredients in my butterfly cakes, but if I didn't have what I needed in my butterfly cakes, I could have actually added that to my shopping list as well. So I've done these are some recipes which are in my planner. So if that's actually my week where I showed you, these are the things that I've planned. It'll show me the ingredients that I need to have. And the great thing around, it's just a little bit of lag there. The great thing around is my ingredient list is that this will be a personality. You might think, oh, that looks a bit messy for me. I like to do it just by recipe, and I can do it that way. So you can select recipe, or you can select by category. And it's an editable shopping list that you can think, oh, I've got a carrot, I don't need that. I can take that out. I've got black pepper, I can take that out. And so then also, of course, as like do the shop, I need some shampoo, I need something else. You good to go, Helen?
Yeah.
Awesome, I'll come back.
Okay, so that's just made it creamy. You might have seen that I added another 10 seconds onto that, and I used my spatula to assist it while it was chopping. This is now the only attachment that comes with the Thermomix. It's called a butterfly. That sits directly on top of the blades. So you just pop that in. And I'm going to pop in there some egg white, raw egg white. If you wanted to cook that egg white for whatever reasons, allergies, not comfortable with the eggs, then there is a version of this recipe on Cookidoo where you would cook that raw egg first. So we pop that in there, and now we're going to go on speed 4 for about a minute. I'm going to see how I go. You don't ever go above speed 4, because with the butterfly on, it will fly off and do damage to your butterfly. So we want to go to speed 4 now, because yeah, awesome, it's going. All right, back to you, Sandy.
Thank you, hon. And you've got that mute, Helen. I'll just mute you. There we go. Awesome. Oh, awesome. So back to my share where I was on Cookidoo. Oh, there we go. Wrong one. Okay, so this is my shopping list, and it's a little bit stop-start, so hopefully you're still with me. You might need to add in there, if you can get it, things like shampoo, and I can add that to my list. So basically, it's an editable shopping list. I can take out the things which I have at home. I can add the things which I also helping to get for me as well. And so then all you need to do at this part is when I then get to my list is complete. And so for those of you who might be doing some things around menu planning, creating shopping lists, it's a really smart way to save money. Here I now just click the share. It gives me that I can click copy, and then I can send that to whoever the person is that's doing the shopping. So ticking boxes there, winning, etc. So great little way to create that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
We're done. All right. Now, I did try at one point to kind of put the camera on top so you could see, but that is now our fruity dream. It is literally puffed up, whipped up, aerated that, which was literally 3 ingredients: sugar, egg white, and frozen berries. And you've got yourself a beautiful soft serve healthy ice cream as an alternative. So who said you have to miss out while we might be stuck in our homes for a little while? I've got these awesome little containers that you can put them into. They're on our mix shop as items, and they're really wonderful come in a green color and this beautiful pink color. And they even come apart for easy washing. So go and check out our mix shop. This is literally one item out of loads of wonderful items on there. All right, that has literally come to the end of our cooking experience. Want to find out, if you've got any other questions, make sure you reach out to your consultant to find out, to ask them those questions. If there's something else that you wanted to see in the Thermomix, what would that be? I'm going to get my hubby to bring me over that risotto so I can just show you how that is likely to have thickened up now.
Helen?
But, yeah.
I might just do a quick share of the consultants can through the just the host rewards, because one thing we saw today is Helen had so much fun with the 2 bowls, and also if you're chasing a cookie, we have fabulous host rewards: hosting, fun and learning complete there. Have a chat to your consultant around that.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandy. And remember, your consultant can tell you all the payment options. There's the 36 months interest free, which is only $16 a week roundabouts. And if you're saving $20 to $30 to $40 to $50 a week, then all the remainder of that money goes into your pocket. It will have paid for itself in a year. This is the risotto now. And that is nice and thick. And if you can see, I'm not sure if you can see how nice and thick that is. So that's ready to go. All right. So reach out to your consultant. Let them know what else do you want to see. They'll be able to accommodate that if it was something, that you wanted to see specifically before making your decision. You can have as many of these virtual cooking experiences as you like. So reach out to them. We'll also be offering some larger state ones like this each week for the next few weeks. And thank you so much for joining me, Sandy. Thank you for being on the other end and going through the Cookidoo there. Were there any questions for us at this point? Anything else I may have forgotten, Sandy?
No, I think we had a lot of fun. I'll just have a quick look to see what's in there. We've just got wow, we've got thank you. We've got wow, thank you. Gratitude.
Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to taste.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Look at this.
Get out of it.
Ice cream.
This virtual stuff is not good for that.
You're making yourselves, guys. It's so yummy. It's well worth trying. I would take this over bought soft serve any day. Take care.
Dairy free, Helen. Amazing.
Yeah, dairy free.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.